as mentioned, Joe, finals MVP odds and conference MVP odds are moving. Jason Tatum's still the favorite in the East, and that's because, well, the Celtics don't look like anything is going to slow them down at this point. Minus 120. Jalen Brunson right there at 325. I don't think I guess that's not too long, given the fact that the Knicks are going to have to beat not just the Pacers, but the Celtics as well, for Brunson to be considered conference finals MVP, obviously. Out West, it's become Anthony Edwards, clear favorite at plus 125, nearly even money. SGA's at 325, given how dominant OKC looked in the first round. Makes sense. Luka 5-1. Okay. Joker now down to 9-1. All the way out to Karl-Anthony Towns at 16-1. Those are the conference numbers. Maybe we start there. Is there value in the East? Because really it's Brunson amidst a bunch of Celtics.
Do you mind talking process first about this?
Yeah.
Because is there a difference between Finals MVP, Conference Finals MVP? The Conference Finals MVP, obviously a newer award. It's only been around for a couple of years. So if we look at finals first, here's your last 8. Jokic, Steph, Giannis, LeBron, Kawhi, KD, LeBron. We know what the outlier is. The outlier is the one before that. In 2015 was Andre Iguodala. My sense is that the NBA awards voters, the finals MVP voters, regret, and when they look back on the list of NBA Finals MVPs, something recently in the last decade does not fit, and it's Iguodala. Now, he was massive, maybe a game changer in that series, how he D'd up, but I think the voters regret the Iguodala bet. And for people that are looking for long shots, I understand where you're coming from, but I just view it as it's the star of the team. And we started thinking about this award because we had Reed Wallach on the show yesterday. He threw out Jalen Williams 60-1. I understand where Reed's coming from. And Conference Finals MVP, we don't have a large sample size. In 2023, last year was Butler and Jokic. Year before was Tatum and Steph. The star of each team. I think for both awards, it is flat out going to be the best player. Whichever team wins the East, best player on that team. Whichever team wins the West, best player. NBA champion, best player on that team is going to be the finals MVP. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean that's what the track record shows us, right? Like there's not much reason to believe otherwise unless you get some sort of massive outlier kind of series-long performance, right? Unless you have a Dante DiVincenzo all of a sudden throw the Knicks on his shoulders. Right, it's not expected.
I don't think that's ever
is the point.
But even if that happens, Chris, I still don't think he'll win the award. Even if in a conference final situation where the star doesn't quite have the best stats, I still think let's say Jaylen Brown outscores Tatum. Okay. You think Jaylen Brown's going to win the Eastern Conference Finals MVP if he outscores him in that series?
I think Jaylen Brown is one of the few exceptions to this. Yeah.
Okay.
I think Brown could be. Yeah. But like if Derek White, for example, who was next on the list at 20-1, if he were to outscore Jason Tatum in the series,
no
way.
Not. No
Tatum's
way.
The star. Yeah. But Jaylen Brown is a 1B to Tatum's 1A. And so I think he's a bit of an exception, right? And I don't think you can find anybody on any of the teams left other than, I would say, Jamal Murray. Like, let's say the Nuggets get back up off the mat, they win this series, and they win the Western Conference Finals, and Jamal Murray comes back to life. Let's say he has a couple buzzer beaters like he did in the first round, right? And outscores Jokic. Jamal Murray is a close enough 1B to Jokic's 1A that he could be. But those guys, Murray and Brown, I think are the only two when we talk about conference finals MVPs, or even if they went on to win the NBA finals, that could surpass the star of their team in voting to win that series' MVP award.
That's kind of like saying Scottie Pippen could have gotten a finals MVP over Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah, and it sounds stupid in hindsight.
Right. That's kind of my point with the Iguodala one. I don't it's big on NBA's big on history too. And the finals MVP matters. Like when you go to Basketball Reference, it's at the top. The number of Finals MVPs these all-timers have. Like when we look at the Hall of Famers, that is mentioned immediately. When you go to LeBron's resume, that is mentioned right away. So in that scenario, I still think Jokic would get it because, well, what about efficiency? And look at the rebounds and the triple doubles and the assists.
Right.
So and plus how he just acted the other night. Last night, I don't know that they would want to give it to Murray, but that's my point overall. So it's kind of, this conversation is kind of a NBA champion / conference title winner conversation as well, because I'm just looking at the best player. Like what Reed threw out yesterday on the show, Jalen Williams. Totally understand where he's coming from. I don't think those voters are giving it to him over SGA. Because SGA is going to have some 30-plus performances like he did last series, and they would still give it to him, and he's the next.
So this becomes then about matching the team that you think is going to win, whether it be the conference or the finals, with the star player and whose number is better, basically then, right? Like Tatum at minus 120 to win Eastern Conference MVP is a better number than the Celtics to win the East at minus 275. Why don't I just make the Tatum bet?
100%. That's what this is. Okay. Instead of betting Minnesota to win the title at plus 320, if you want to juice up your odds, take Edwards at plus 370. Yeah. That's your title bet. Because how are the Timberwolves winning the championship and Edwards not the finals MVP, right? There's no world that happens, right?
No.
Where they win the championship and he's not the dude and he doesn't win it. The Knicks, is it the same number? No, it's juiced up a little bit. Okay, Knicks are 10-1 for the title, but Brunson's 11-1 for the finals MVP. In no world are the Knicks winning the title and Brunson not the MVP.
Also, 99.9% likely, yeah.
It's funny that I think the betting market got a little carried away with the prices on Boston against Florida. Like that, these two teams were pretty close during the regular season. I think Florida is the better team and deserved to be a favorite. But considering how Boston played in that series against Toronto and the lack of offense and the fact that their depth kind of gets called into question, that I think caused a lot of people to doubt that they had any chance against the Panthers. But this is still a really good team with perhaps the best goalie in the league right now. So they definitely have a platform to win. That said, I think now is like a pretty good opportunity to start circling some Panther stuff. My preferred way is to look at the Conn Smythe market. I think Alexander Barkov at 40-1 is my favorite Conn Smythe bet on the entire board. So I was kind of happy that they did lose that game one to get a better price on him, because I think if they do win the Stanley Cup, he's going to be the guy that gets the most attention with his two-way play, and the fact he's going to have to go up against some of the biggest stars in the NHL over the next few weeks if they go on a run.